Yeah, obviously a tremendous day for FC Cincinnati and the city of Cincinnati to be able to add a player of Evander's quality. Sincere thank you to Carl and all of ownership who continues to give us the resources to build a roster that the city would be proud of, a significant financial commitment. Evander's a special player that's already proven himself in MLS, and I think that's what, the opportunity when it presented itself, you're going to pay a bit of a premium for someone coming in league that's already proven that they can do it at an MVP level. And we made a decision as an organization to go ahead and do that. And I think he's a seamless fit to our attack. He's an excellent teammate of high character, and we're really looking forward to getting him going.
Yeah, as far as the impact, the addition, we have, as Chris mentioned, a proven MVP caliber player whose ability to score and assist on a consistent level is going to be something our group is going to benefit from immediately. As far as getting him up to speed, he's just arrived. He's had a couple sessions with the team, so we have to be mindful of how we build him up. But you could see within a couple days a high soccer IQ and a player that is going to help us control the tempo of the game in different ways to attack. And we're going to challenge him on the defensive side of the ball as well. You can already see his level of engagement in how we want to get pressure to the ball. So very, very pleased with this addition, and I know the players on this team. They see the ambition of our ownership group, Carl, and our desire to win trophies. And so this is a big day for our club.
We'll open it up to Carter Chapley's in the room, and then we'll take questions from Zoom. Carter, you can go ahead.
Chris, it's been a busy offseason on top of Evander with Kevin coming in first and then the other additions. What does it mean for you as a general manager to be given the flexibility to make over a roster in the way you like it, but then also, do you feel like you've accomplished what you've wanted to do thus far?
We still have more work to do. Obviously the addition of a player of Kevin's quality, caliber, goal-scoring ability, to be able to marry that with a player like Evander that we think can kind of get the most out of Kevin as an investment, so to speak. Really exciting. Again, it just signals the commitment from ownership and the buy-in that we have through the whole organization. It's a process that involves everyone. The coaches, my guys, Hunter, Kyle, Jeff, obviously ownership. These decisions are not made in a short period of time. It takes a long time to be able to make a commitment like these two, frankly. And so we're looking to continue to add to this group, but really happy where we are right now.
And then, Pat, how do you envision with Evander in your lineup now, things changing for you? Do you envision things being, I guess, tactically relatively the same, or will there be a change with him in the lineup?
I think his strengths as certainly an attacking piece and what we have around him allow us to look at different things in terms of how we set up the group. So, it won't be one way that we go about it. A lot will have to, will be dictated on, advantages that we think we can find, within the opponent week by week. So, the ability to play in a wider area, the ability to play, underneath one or two strikers. There's flexibility there, and we'll continue to look at different things that, focus around getting him on the ball and helping us create.
We'll head to the Zoom and go to the first hand. I see here Tom Bogert. Tom, do you want to go ahead?
Thanks, guys. It's been a bit of a long offseason. Congrats on getting towards the first game here. A couple more offseason questions, I guess. I'll start with Chris. There were a couple moving parts, right? Luke Rocco said, I believe, before Evander could come. What is it like trying to negotiate on both fronts and have this timing align? And Pat, on your end, for not waiting around, but Luke was in camp for a little bit, and then Evander just got here. So what challenges to kind of hold that present to you guys?
Yeah, it was unusual to have two deals of that size, that nature kind of line up. Obviously on the incoming side with Evander, and the outgoing, using the new mechanism in the league. I have to credit the league and ownership and the players union for agreeing to this mechanism. I think it's something that's long overdue. It allows us to keep proven players in our league. It allows us to keep money in the system and get other players paid. So I think it's a fantastic step for our league. And yeah, the timing and how it lined up was really was very interesting in how it happened. And I give Ned and Portland a lot of credit, and Andre in Dallas a lot of credit for being really easy to work with, good guys. I think that's important. When you have good relationships, it's easier to pull off deals of this size. So yeah, certainly it was hot and heavy there for a little bit, and we're glad we're on the other side of it.
Yeah, you always want consistency, Tom, with the beginning of preseason and having your group together for as long as possible for the beginning of the year, which for us has Champions Cup competition as well as the league. So, that part's challenging. But, in the 4 years now that I've been here, that's every year, unfortunately, where maybe this year a little bit different. But injuries, miles away at the beginning for national team camp, you kind of get new additions coming throughout the preseason, and you want weeks with, a strong group and a healthy group, but it doesn't always work out that way. You try to focus on what are the players that are here, how do we build their minutes, how do we build this team to have a strong start to the, to the year. And so that was kind of, how I focused over this past month. But the addition of Vander late is better than no Evander. And, we get Gilberto Flores joining the group recently. Teenage was dealing with an injury. He's back with the group. So we're getting pieces healthy and more acclimated to the group. And hopefully over the course of, the next 2 or 3 weeks with a lot of games and the idea of advancing in this Champions Cup competition, we're going to build minutes, we're going to build relationships, and we're going to continue to improve.
Do you have a follow-up, Tom? You good?
I guess I'll just do one to ask it then. So, Chris, right, I'm sure that you've seen some of the comments that Lucho's had. We've heard a lot from Lucho. I don't think we've really heard from you on this, if there's kind of any comment or reaction to some of the things Lucho said.
No, look, we shared a lot of success together. A Supporters Shield title, an MVP award for Lucho. Those are really important moments for FC Cincinnati, for Lucho, for myself. Look, as far as how it ended, I think the important thing is players, coaches, front office staff, ownership knows where the truth lies in all of that. And I think we're focused now on kind of looking forward with the players that are here, continue to treat guys the right way, make sure they're comfortable to be able to be as successful as they can on the field. So today's really about Evander and 2025 expectations and moving forward. But we wish Lucho and his family all the best in Dallas.
All right, we'll transition now to Pat Brennan. Pat, you can go ahead.
You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. It's good to talk to you guys. As I observe the commentary around the acquisition of Evander, it strikes me that there are already a lot of comparisons to Lucho. There's an expectation that he will produce at the level Lucho produced. What do you think are fair expectations for a player in a new environment like Evander? And I don't know, that could be a situation of great pressure. How would you guys help to manage that?
Is that directed towards me, Pat? Or either?
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
I think top players can step into almost any environment and acclimate and show their quality and help the team, produce goals and assists in the case of Evander and help us win games. We anticipate his arrival and his production to be at a level that we've seen previously, and whether it was players that we've had or with his production, as we saw in Portland. We expect him to come in and be a focal point of of our attack, certainly, and helping us win games. So the hope is that you see it sooner than later. But, I think the biggest hurdle just in this moment in terms of seeing as much of him as possible is just the fitness and the time that he's been with our group. So we're going to be mindful of that and try to build his fitness and do it in a way where we're smart about game minutes, we're smart about recovery, so he's healthy and impacting every game that we're playing him.
And I'd like to add, we didn't have a chance to speak with you guys after your last scrimmage. I just wonder how you feel about the group that you have available coming out of preseason, and what you guys are thinking and feeling on the eve of your first competitive game of the season.
I would say we saw progress. Results aside, each game, I think we got a little bit better. I said it previously. I thought defensively we were pretty consistent throughout the preseason. But after the first two games, Montreal and then Houston, it was looking for improvements with the ball. And we saw that with the Union game, with the Atlanta game. Some really good ideas, some good opportunities to create more chances, more goals, and I was pleased with that. And as far as where we're at, of course, I've just mentioned it. We have some players that were injured, a couple new faces that are coming in to play here. So, we're not going to be the best version of ourselves, but we're going to be a version of ourselves that expects to go out and win a game tomorrow and start the regular season strong on Saturday against New York Red Bulls. So we're always going to be confident with who we have to be successful, but we also recognize that with some new pieces coming in, some pieces moving out, that it's going to take some time to see all the relationships and a better version of this group.
All right, we'll go
Do you
to.
think you'd be able to
Go
get
ahead.
Evander on for any period?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, guys. I just wanted to sneak a third in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think you'd be able to get Evander on for any time at all tomorrow night?
Yes.
All right, we'll go to Laurel Phelan now. Laurel, you can go ahead.
Thank you. This one's for Chris. But Evander expressed some frustrations with Portland's front office in the past year. You guys had similar issues. I know they were a little bit different with Lucho. What makes you confident it can work with Evander when it didn't with Lucho? Is that anything that you have to address?
No, not at all. Every situation's different. Every player's different. Every experience we've had with Evander has been fantastic as far as on a human level. He's a really great kid, and we're looking forward to him having a ton of success with us.
And then just with the investment that the club has put into both Evander and Kevin Dente, and then some of the other signings that you guys have made, does that add any pressure to you guys? Do you feel like you need to reward ownership for trusting you with that kind of investment? Does that add anything to? I guess this is for both of you guys.
That's what pro sports is. Pro sports is about pressure. We have pressure on us every day. Evander's going to have pressure on him that he's going to accept and excel with. No, I think that we have high expectations of ourselves. And so I think Pat and I wake up every day and put the requisite amount of pressure on ourselves to be successful. And so, no, I don't think it changes much.
I'd rather be in a situation where we have this level of investment with these types of players to go and win trophies than the alternative.
Can I also ask real quick, is there any update with Luca Orjano? I know he's been kind of in and out, and I guess how are you guys managing another player that voiced some displeasure with his situation?
We're trying to stay away from the tabloids today and kind of look forward. Today's about Evander. but we're managing the situation. We've, since the end of last season, have offered Luka a raise and a long-term extension, and we're confident that we'll get there at some point.
All right, we will go to Charlie Bohm now. Charlie, you go ahead.
Chance, thanks for speaking today. I wanted to ask about Evander's sort of working into the group and getting him up to full speed in the context of Champions Cup. I know you guys have a little bit of experience with this tournament now, and how does Evander's arrival maybe raise the ceiling a little bit on your prospects for this tournament? And how do you work in with what seems from the outside like maybe a little bit of a race against time?
Yeah, we've only seen him for a short period of time, and that's kind of day by day. Let's assess how he came in, what he was able to do prior. When guys are working out on their own, there's only so much you can do to replicate the intensity that you find in a training session and in games. So that was day by day. Let's have him partial. Let's let him be full go, and then decide what kind of minutes we're looking at with this first game. So we kind of took like a week, 2 week plan built around the games and building up his game fitness. So he's not 90 minutes fit, we know that, but how do we get him there in the next couple of weeks? And he wants to push himself. So that's an important part of it, is that the player wants a lot right now. And it's our job to manage that so we can understand, game intensity, game minutes, recovery, quick turnaround to be able to do it again on Saturday. And like I said, how does he factor in game to game? So that'll be the challenge, but I think it's a positive that we have him available for a very important game tomorrow as a starting point.
Chris, how would you describe your outlook on Conca Champions at the moment?
I'm sorry, how would I?
The outlook on CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Yeah, it's look, we want to compete for trophies. What I would tell you is we're far from a finished product right now. Pat noted some of the absences and injuries and whatnot, and so that part's a bit unfortunate. So it's a bit of a rush to kind of get the group together. But we know we have the quality to compete, and our expectation is to go and try to win the thing. Obviously, there's only one team standing at the end, but we feel we have as good a shot as any.
All right, we'll go to Alejandro Del Valle now. Alejandro, you can go ahead.
And Coach Brian Chris, for the past 3 years, we've been playing under a 5-3-2 formation, and obviously Evander and Lucho are different players. Are we going to see a shifting in the formation of what we used to know to a lineup that favors the way they run the play, or we're going to continue to play with the 5-3-2?
Well, we've looked at different formations last year. It wasn't always a 5-3-2. It was a lot of times with Lucho underneath two strikers, and at times we looked at 1-9 and two attacking mids, if you will. So we've already looked at different things in the past year, really. But with Evander, I think, and Kevin, and just different personnel, it's how do we play in a similar way with similar success to years past, but with the current personnel. And it's my job and the staff's job to put these guys in a position to succeed. So whatever our tactical approach and structure looks like will be dictated on who's available and who we're playing and what our strongest group is.
And are we having a timeline on when Manny Oscar and Lee Albright will be fully incorporated into the work?
Yeah, they've both been partial over the past week or two. I'd say there's up and down days just as far as how long these guys have been out and the physical components of training and what they're capable of. And then, just the mental side of it. When you're coming back in after a long absence, the confidence that you're looking to find, trust in the medical side of things in your body to be able to, get through some of those moments of struggle where you don't feel at 100%, but you're going to get there. So those are some of the things that, I think they're facing right now, but I couldn't give you a definitive timeline. It's kind of day by day in this moment, and when we feel they're 100% and available for game minutes, you'll see them out on the field.
If I have one more for Chris, what actually they see in Gilberto Flores when they scout to bring him over here?
A lot. A high-end athlete, a really good kid that loves to defend. Someone that, Kenny, who works a lot with our defenders, fell in love with pretty early on. And when Kenny likes a defender, he chases me around the office asking me for updates on when he's going to be in the building. So we think the kid's got a really high ceiling, but he has the sort of immediate instincts of a defender to defend the box, to want to defend, to like to tackle and to duel. And again, on top of that, we see a really eager, smart, good kid that's going to fit into the group effortlessly.
And we'll do one last one from Laurel and one last one from Carter.
Thanks. Chris, I was wondering, with the way MLS rolled out the cash per players trade rule, I know it had been approved in December, but didn't actually get rolled out till mid-January. Do you think the offseason would have been any different had that been rolled out sooner? Did it impact what you were able to do, and maybe just how you handled the Lucho situation?
Yeah, perhaps. I think that it was delayed. There was some negotiating between the players' union and the league, really over consent, for the players to have consent or not. So I think it would have maybe sped up some timelines, perhaps. Did we pull the Lucho thing off 3-4 weeks earlier and Evander's in the building? I'm not sure. But, this league, we've learned over the years that their new mechanisms come in mid-season. Sometimes they come in, we were told January 1, and then I didn't get a memo until a few days later that we were actually live and ready to go. So that's the nature of our league, and I think the more nimble you can be as an organization, the more prepared you are for these circumstances.
We'll wrap up with Carter.
Chris, I know you said today was about Evander, but I wanted to ask about Lucas Engel.
Yeah.
When and how was he identified? What did you like about the player? And then for Pat, what have you seen from him since you?
Yeah, Lucas was identified 18 months ago, before he went to Middlesbrough. It's someone that we kind of valued highly in our data, and then went as far as to, I think Hunter flew over and met with him, and we were pretty well down the line with the recruitment process. And so with guys like that we miss out on, we always kind of track and keep our eye on to see what their availability is, playing time, and this one kind of came back around. Again, another guy that I think fits a lot of things that we want to do, but a guy that we've had our eye on for quite some time.
What you see pretty early on from the games that we look at with him at Middlesbrough specifically is a composure under pressure to be able to find different types of passes. Inside passes, rotating the ball. He can get us out of pressure in different ways. He's got the engine to get up and down the field, and the way we utilize our wide guys. They're in positions to contribute in the attack quite frequently. And, the way he moves with the game and moves with, that last line of defense, we saw ways that he could be impactful as far as getting into the box, finding ways to get the ball in front of goal. We got a guy in Kevin that knows how to run hard in front of goal. I think that pairing could combine frequently, but then he has the ability to look past the first run and see, how do we arrive into the box, in the weak side? How do we arrive late centrally? So I like his vision in those moments. So we think he can find assists in that way. Defensively, he's played in the back four. He allows us the flexibility, which I don't think we've consistently had with our personnel, with our group, to get into a four. So that's something we looked at in the recruitment process. So he's been a really nice addition, and as far as a character and professionalism, he's fit in pretty quickly.
Pat, Chris, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.